All team, give it everything you got.
It's time to fangirl flail with Fangirls Going Rogue.
Count me in. I don't think there's anything more important in the Star Wars universe than the fans.
News, discussion, and commentary from the female point of view.
You call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
With your hosts, Teresa Delgado, Trisha Barr, and Sarah Woloski.
Boy, am I glad to hear your voice.
Strap in, because this is where the fun begins.
I like the sound of that.
Hey, Yub Cubs, and welcome to episode 60 of Fangirls Going Rogue. I am Teresa Delgado, one of your hosts, and with me is the entire crew of Fangirls Going Rogue, Trisha Barr, Sarah Woloski, and Sandra Shute. So let me introduce each one of them. Trisha, what's going on? How's your summer?
It's hot. It's Florida. But I've heard it's been hot in Los Angeles, too, so maybe even hotter.
Maybe. Sarah, can you give us the skinny on that?
Yes, I keep waking up in the middle of the night because I'm just too hot. I'm one of those people who sleeps, and when I sleep, I just get warmer, and it's terrible. But other than that, we have a kitchen back, so that's exciting. Yes.
I know you've been looking forward to that. Well, here in Texas, we are having a heat wave that is really high. I think this week they're looking at 106 degree temperatures. Yeah. But somebody who's probably a lot cooler than all of us, Sandra, since you're more north, is it hot there?
Actually, it's been really, really nice for me. I mean, I'm from the Caribbean. I lived in Florida for 12 years, so I love it. I love sitting outside on my deck. I'm enjoying the summer. I decided not to do anything at all this summer. No, I'm not working. I'm not responding to emails. So I have been enjoying the summer. So I really don't care if it's hot or not.
Nice. That's actually really awesome. I think we're all envious. Mm. And Trisha, what else is going on with you, girl?
Yeah, I've been doing a little transcribing of our Looking for Leia interviews that we all did, some of us together at Geek Girl Con and Sandra separately. And I just wanted to tell you all that I love all you.
Aww.
It was just so sweet to hear everybody talk about what being a fangirl and being a woman who is part of Star Wars fandom meant to all of you guys. So I look forward to whatever comes out of the Looking for Leia series, but it's just so sweet to hear everybody talk.
Oh, that's so awesome. I want to remember what I said, so send that over to me when you're done.
That's one of the things. I talk so much, I forgot what I said.
Yeah, it's just we were in a whirlwind when we did that with Geek Girl Con and everything. And it's like I remember what I was wearing. I just don't remember.
That's just something you would do.
The important part.
Yeah. Not what you said. No, it's what you wear.
Nope. Well, it's kind of like when people say to you, they comment on the podcast and you're going, what?
Yes.
What did I say? Oh yeah, I remember. But you don't remember in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some news. We don't have a ton of news, but Sarah, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So episode 9 news, because I believe it's ready to start filming or has already started filming. Do we know?
We know that they're on set and in training. So,
okay.
But no official announcement.
Okay. Well, there was an official announcement right around July 4th, and that was that Carrie Russell will be joining episode 9. And I am super excited about this because Carrie Russell, Felicity came on, and that was like my first introduction to J.J. Abrams stuff, and I was actually a year behind Felicity on that show. So she was going to college and I was like a junior in high school. And so I kind of looked up to her and I watched the show and I was a big fan. And then lately, Richard and I have been binge watching The Americans on Netflix or something. And we have been so into that show. And her two characters that she plays between Felicity and then Elizabeth on The Americans are completely opposite of each other. And so she just has such a range that I am really excited to see the character that she's going to portray in episode 9.
Well, and we're hoping portray, because officially Variety reported in talks and everybody went with that. And Lucasfilm hasn't denied it. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize it wasn't an official announcement yet.
Well, the news dropped sort of like she is, and then they backed it off to in talks, which is kind of the lingo. And then there was a lot of other errors in the original article, which they fixed. Like they said, Larry Kasdan was writing the script, different things. But yeah, they backed it off to in talks, and that's kind of where it's sitting. But I feel pretty confident. I always felt like J.J. Abrams was going to go back to one of his girls, either Jennifer Garner or Kerry Russell, you know, someone like that. And Kerry went in Mission Impossible 3. That was his big directorial debut for film. So she had a great action role in that. So she can definitely pull off any stunts, you know, lightsaber fights, whatever might happen.
Cool.
And then we have some more episode 9 news. And Sandra, I thought you would be excited about this. I know I am.
I actually am extremely excited. Billy D. Williams was announced will be reprising his role as Lando Calrissian. And I'm not, honestly, when I read it, I was like, is this a joke? Are they serious? But then when I, when I read the article, they stated that, it's a go ahead. So I mean, obviously, just like Trisha said, it was not formally announced by Lucasfilm, but still, just to the excitement of hearing that he might come back to play Lando is amazing. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and obviously for me, for different reasons, he is sort of like one of those very first Black characters in Star Wars. So that's extra exciting. And I actually got to sit in on a panel with him during Star Wars Celebration Orlando. I mean, he's just a wonderful person. When you see him in person, the way he speaks about the character, his passion for this character, he brought so much into this role. And then he also discussed some of the issues that he dealt with. When he betrayed, the others in the film, some of the things that he dealt with from fans. So, I'm excited to see him. I'm not sure what role he's going to, I guess the character is going to be doing in the film, but it's just exciting to hear at least that he'll be back in the film.
Well, to piggyback off of what Sandra said, I'm really excited about Lando coming back in, just because we got to see more of Lando and his origins with Donald Glover in Solo. And so now we're going to get to see what has been going on with him in these, in the last 30 years or whatever it is with our time frame. But we also don't know still if there's going to be a time gap between the end of 8 and 9. So everything's up in the air.
I think there will be a time gap.
Yeah.
I know John Boyega's growing his hair out. I don't know if any of you saw the picture of him riding the horse that he put up this week.
No.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's so cute. But yeah, I think there'll be a time gap. You kind of have to in storytelling like this, or you're not really showing any growth.
Right.
So, I feel like we're going to go a little bit to jump ahead, not to like the Jedi Order is a thing and we're all running around and got it figured out, but some type of time gap. If you guys check out our website and on our feed, you might have seen another You Talk, We Listen episode, which our first one was with Sandra on it, talking about Rogue One. So this is our venue to allow other people to express their feelings about Star Wars. So we interviewed, speaking of Geek Girl Con, where we did our Looking for Leia interviews, we interviewed Tish Wells and Maggie Nowakoska back then. And I finally had a chance to put it all together, and it's so great and so timely. They talk about being Star Wars fans. They were young professionals in 1977, and about fic and fanzines and just finding your own voice and using fandom as a way to learn about dealing with other people in real life. Your fandom friends are a place to comfortably do things, express your feelings, and then see how you could apply that in the real world. So I recommend checking it out.
All right. And in some of the news related to animation, which I know we are all excited about, Star Wars Resistance, we got a little bit more information from at the annual meeting between Disney France and its business partners. And what they released was some artwork that showed Imperial characters and Resistance characters. We didn't get to see photos that are super up close, but over on the WookieGunner.com, she did compile some of the imagery that we did get. And we do know that the story is the Resistance character featured at the center is believed to be Kazuto. I don't know how to say that last name. Xiono. Any guesses, anybody?
No.
No guesses. All right. So it's believed that Kazuto is voiced by Christopher Sean. Kazuto is a young pilot tasked with a top secret mission to spy on the growing threat of the First Order. He is surrounded by 6 other characters, 4 of which are known. So, it's going to take some time before we get more information on this, but I'm pretty excited for it. It's supposed to be in an anime style of art with, so that could be cool. It's going to be 2D and it's going to be different than what we've seen before because we're used to the 3D animation of Rebels and the Clone Wars. So, yay. Are y'all excited for Resistance?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually really excited for Donald Faison because I know he's a huge Star Wars fan. So, he's going to be up to the challenge of being in Star Wars, So I'm excited to see what his character is all about.
I wonder when he screamed that first question at the Rebels finale panel, if he already knew he was going to be in the show, because it feels kind of like he was there and maybe he did know something back then.
Maybe. I would think so. I think so.
So in Star Wars Rebels news, Star Wars Rebels was nominated for 3 Emmy Awards, and it'll be for the 70th annual Emmy Awards. And they've been nominated before for Outstanding Children's Program. And like last year, HBO won for Once Upon a Sesame Street Christmas, but they were nominated. Last month, Star Wars Rebels did win a Saturn Award for Best Animated TV Series. So this year, they were nominated for Outstanding Children's Program with a bunch of other Netflix shows. And then Outstanding Music Composition, which I think is cool. They're going up against Game of Thrones, Once Upon a Time, Westworld, Jessica Jones. Just
wow.
Gosh.
You got this, Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, for Outstanding Children's Program, I don't see how they could not win unless Sesame Street takes it again. It's up against Fuller House, which is okay, but it's super cheesy. Alexa and Katie on Netflix, and Netflix is A Series of Unfortunate Events. And I've tried to watch Alexa and Katie, and I couldn't. And I haven't tried Series of Unfortunate Events. But Sesame Street might win again because, Oscar and Elmo.
It's Sesame Street.
Yeah. And then they're also nominated for Outstanding Sound Editing against FX's Atlanta and some HBO shows like Ballers, Barry, and Vice Principal. So here's hoping they win one.
Yeah. Crossing the fingers.
My fingers are all crossed. So way to go, Star Wars Rebels.
Good luck.
And Victoria Mahoney tweeted. Woo! She is the episode 9 second unit director.
Yay.
She tweeted out that she was so excited to be featured in Amy Richau's 365 Women of Star Wars, which we talked about in the last episode. And I was like, man, dude, check it out. So congratulations to Amy for getting that little shout out. And we're excited that Victoria is on set and sharing her love of being there. So y'all make sure and check her out on Twitter. We'll have her in the show notes.
Oh, so what's her Twitter handle?
It's at VICTORI and then MAHONEY. So Victoria Mahoney.
Okay.
And I also want to give a huge shout out to Amy because she is doing a wonderful job highlighting diverse group of women on the 365 Women of Star Wars. So great job, Amy. So keep doing what you're doing, Amy. We appreciate it. We love it. Keep going. Keep it going.
All right. Y'all ready to get into this?
Oh, yes. I have my fox slippers on.
Your fox slippers. I have on penguin pajama pants. Trisha? Never mind. I don't want to know.
But we are doing a pajama party.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're doing a pajama party. And on our social media this week, we actually asked for our listeners to give us questions. And it was basically free game question asking for us. I am surprised how many people kept to Star Wars and fandom stuff and didn't actually go and ask some super awesome personal risque questions. A little bummed, but don't worry. I got one in there because I had to.
So you mean no truth or dare here? No truth or dare at this PJ party?
Was going to happen, but it didn't. I was a little bit bummed. So we got a ton of questions. I think we got somewhere over 40 something questions. So we obviously can't answer all of them. So we have pulled a few, and by a few I mean a lot. But we're just going to kind of go through them. They're not in any particular order or anything like that. So girls, stay on your toes. Pay attention to which questions you picked, and let's go. Sarah, go.
Okay, so this first question comes from Isla Edgar Desarn. If there were no Star Wars, what fandom would you be focused on, if any? And is there another fandom in which you actively participate? I would say that I would be focused on Disney, because I'm kind of I do a Star Wars and Disney podcast as well, so Disney would definitely be my main other focus, with Marvel in there too. And I'm not going to say another thing because I know, Teresa, you're probably going to say it. So,
what? No.
So, and then of course, those are also fandoms I actively participate in.
Yes. All right. So if there were no other Star Wars, or if there was no Star Wars, the other fandom I'd be focused on would be Harry Potter.
Yep.
Hardcore. Completely. Anything and everything. I actually do participate in Harry Potter fandom. It's not quite like Star Wars, but because nothing is. But yes, there's new Harry Potter Lego sets, and as soon as I'm allowed to buy them, I will be buying all of them.
Wow.
So does that count as participating?
Absolutely.
Also, I'm rereading the Harry Potter novels again. I do it twice a year. I am coming up on the end of the first reread. Wow. So, yeah. All right. Who wants to go next? Trisha?
I would definitely be part of Disney. I mean, that seems kind of obvious. Like Disney Parks fandom.
Right.
And the movie. So a little different. I love Legend of Korra. So anything involved with that. And people don't know this, but Battlestar Galactica and Supernatural also.
Nice.
Cool.
Sandra.
Definitely Marvel. I mean, I love a lot of many of their movies and content that they put out. Marvel, definitely Marvel, and that's probably it. In some DC, it depends on the character.
Wonder Woman.
But Marvel. Yeah, Marvel. Marvel is probably my top one. And actually, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek as well.
Oh, yeah.
I love Star Trek. I mean, honestly, online, I don't have too many people to kind of share their passion with. But I really do enjoy Star Trek. It's one of my other loves.
Nice. All right. Should we go to the 1A question here?
I kind of want to make it a Star Wars and something.
Okay,
like
so
crossover.
All right. So Kelly Kilcoyne said, piggybacking off of this first question, what other fandom would you like to see cross over to Star Wars? I'm assuming. Is that what she means? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So,
I have one.
Okay, well, you go first because I need to think about this.
My Little Pony. Can that work?
Well, it already is working.
Sure. whatever. I just would love to see pony related stuff. Although I do have two fandoms that I would love to cross over that are not Star Wars related, but it's My Little Pony and Transformers. Like I would love, since they're both Hasbro, I'd love to see like this mashup of MLP Transformers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have problems.
I'm going to say Pacific Rim crossed with Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh.
We don't have any big mechs that are, and John Boyega can like get in it and be he's like, this is something I learned being a stormtrooper. No, that was in another movie. Anyway.
Nice.
Okay.
I would love Lost in Space in Star Wars because I would love to see Robot try to outwit R2D2 and just to see them interact with each other. I would love to see that.
Nice. And I'm gonna say Disney princesses in Star Wars.
I had a feeling for I just knew it.
And I think we're gonna see that in Wreck-It Ralph too. So I am excited.
That's like one of the best scenes ever in a trailer. That scene.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too. Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up? Yes, what is up with that? She is a princess.
I just love when Cinderella, she breaks her slipper like a shank. It's like, oh my gosh.
Cinderella in the hood. All right. So Steve Cardali, he says, who is on your list of actors, actresses you'd like to see join the Star Wars universe? About a year or so ago, I read where Rosario Dawson expressed interest in portraying Ahsoka Tano in the live action movie. So I'm just going to make this a rapid fire round.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. Mine has always been Jennifer Garner.
Okay.
I'll say Chris Pine.
I knew it. Oh my gosh.
Of course.
Predictable. Okay, I'm going to say Tom Hanks. It makes no sense, but Tom Hanks.
I can't think right now.
Okay, I'll pick an actress then.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is her name? She plays Katniss. Help.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Jennifer Lawrence said she wanted to play Han Solo.
Nice.
That would have been awesome.
Sandra, do you have one?
I mean, I would definitely go with Rosario Dawson. I mean, there's some other actresses that I would love to see in a Star Wars film, but I mean, there's so many out there that we've discussed. I mean, there's Tessa Thompson. I mean, I would have loved to. My preference would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Lupita Nyong'o actually on screen as herself.
Okay.
Okay, one other, Winston Duke.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he would be good. So,
and I have one more.
You can do another.
Okay, I'm gonna say for my actress Nicole Kidman, because I think she could play like an amazing looking alien.
Ooh, Sandra Bullock.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I don't know if we can have her because she's a brunette, and we have.
I know. That's why I picked Nicole Kidman, because she's blonde. Damn it.
I love Teresa just like randomly throwing names out there. Like I did not expect that.
I just think of the people I like to watch. I'm like,
I like Sandra Bullock too. I do.
Yeah. Well, Tom Hanks is my favorite actor, so I'll watch him in anything. He'd be great. Like I know he would never do Star Wars. It just doesn't fit him, But it would be cool.
Yeah. Are Tom Hanks fans called something because Chris Pine fans are pine nuts?
I don't know. Hankies?
If not, they now do have a name.
Yes.
So Bianca Gallagly-Horkin asked, what Star Wars alien would you like to see reintroduced or introduced for the first time into Star Wars canon?
Who jibs?
I have one.
Go.
Experiment 626.
Hey, we're not doing crossovers anymore.
What's he from?
Stitch.
Oh, Stitch.
Oh, I didn't. I'm going to say a Bothan because every time a creature shows up, people go, is that a Bothan? And they're like, no, that's not a Bothan. So I want to see a Bothan.
Yeah, That'd be good.
And yeah, I'm gonna say Who Jibs because hashtag make Who Jibs canon.
Okay, what about whatever species Ben Quadraneros is? Just because.
No.
Okay, Sandra, do you have a species?
I'm not a fan of aliens. They're scary, so I can't think of one right now.
They're scary.
You know what? Moncalls. I do like Moncalls a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see like a new Moncall character. And then maybe more Togrutas, because we don't see a lot. I think we've only seen, what, 2?
It's a trap!
But that makes her special, though. I like that she's one of a few.
Well, there
Ahsoka.
has to be more of them.
I know. That's true.
We did see more of them when she went home.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
All right. We also have another question from Bianca Horkin, and that is, what pop culture phrases do you use in your daily life, be it Star Wars or something else? And I have to say, I do use Star Wars phrases a lot, but the second most quoted movie in our home is Love Actually. I hate Uncle Jamie, or some such. We always use Love Actually phrases because we watch it every year.
I say life will find a way a lot.
Nice.
So I do say that. And then I'm trying to think like outside of Star Wars. Oh, I do Cars quotes a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, like float like a butterfly, sting like a beamer. Yeah.
There's a lot of Top Gun quotes I use in my life.
Nice.
A lot of great lines in that movie. But I've used several times. You know when Anakin says, "It's working."
Yes.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
And that's not how the Force works.
Yes.
That's me looking at Twitter, usually screaming that. So, okay.
Nice.
Sandra's just dying over there.
The only one I can think of, I work with a lot of middle schoolers, and usually some of the questions they ask is usually a long no. So yes.
Just get the Vader scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when Luke finds out that, Vader is his father, that long no. Yes, that is me on a daily basis working with middle schoolers.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm next. What are your dream jobs?
And who asked us that?
It is Jess Walsh. My dream job. And actually, I love what I do as a teacher, but there are days when I think about what else could I have been doing? What else could I have been doing right now instead of saying no to a middle schooler? You know what? A couple years ago, I think I read an interview by that somebody interviewed Andy Gutierrez, and I actually fell in love with her passion for social media. I think that's how she started, with Star Wars. And I remember reading, I was like, you know what? If I would ever stop being a teacher, I would just love to be like, just to work with social media, be in that background. I mean, that's kind of like what I do now for Fangirls Going Rogue, just to motivate other people, just to be able to share your passion, just to connect with others. That would probably be what I do.
Nice.
So for me, dream jobs, I would say one of my dream jobs is what I'm doing now, getting back into doing athletic training stuff. That was my passion from when I was 14 until now. It still is. And so getting to get back into that is great. But I think if I was doing something else, I kind of always wanted to be an archaeologist. I just knew that there wasn't a lot of money in that, or like a geologist and studying rocks and things like that. So if I was doing something else, I might want to do something like that and go on architectural digs and like find historical artifacts or whatever. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, there's several things like I just love all the arts and stuff like that. So, right now, I make kids happy is my job, and it's really fun and really rewarding. But if I could have any dream job, it would probably be a film composer, because I just think that's amazing. But also going off the beaten path, kind of like you, Teresa, I've always loved the movie Contact. And I think it would be really neat if I went in the science-y path to be like an astronomer or do what Jodie Foster does in that film. Like discover different crazy stuff in space. So that would be my off the beaten path dream job.
Yeah. You also reminded me at one point I wanted to be a tornado chaser.
Nice.
That's really safe job.
Oh, I didn't care about that. I just thought it'd be really cool to go and be, like one of the people on CNN that's in the middle of the hurricane that's there reporting. Like, I'd love to do that just to be like, don't come here. It's really bad. So, Trisha, what about you?
I think I would like to be a person who managed a high-end show barn. Some people know that I show horses competitively, but there's, I do it as much as I can, one horse, but I would love to have a whole string of them showing and be successful. And on the side, I would be a screen, let's see, what would you call them? A person who reads screenplays and says,
a doctor?
Not a doctor or someone who would read him and look at him for stuff like inclusion and diversity and if you're doing the best thing for the character.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a cool job. Are there people who do that? Because I feel like there aren't.
Not enough. There's not enough people who do that. So that's what I would like to do.
Cool. Nice. All right. So Jess Walsh also asked us, what is your biggest non-Star Wars fandom? Now, I know we kind of talked about this in question 1, but pick one and kind of give us a little bit in-depth look to why you're so geeky at that thing. Okay, so I'll go first to give you guys an example. So Harry Potter would be mine. And the reason I know that this is my biggest non-Star Wars fandom is that when people ask me questions, for instance, I got a question because there is a character in a Lego set named Susan Bones. And the person was like, why is this character here? I've never heard of this character. And I said, oh, yes, you have. And I went on this tangent about who Susan Bones is and where she came from. And when we first see her in the book and in the movie and who her aunt is and the whole entire background on Susan Bones, which is a character not a lot of people remember. And I suddenly realized I know way too much about this. And I find myself reading Pottermore facts. The other day, for about 20 minutes, I was just reading about the Sacred 28 and the Potter family origins and how they got their fortune just to refresh my brain.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Mine is timeless. Sorry, Sarah, if I took yours, but...
Yay. No, that's okay.
It has Matt Lanter, our Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars, who will be back at the 10th anniversary panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and Abigail Spencer, and just the stories they told. And I'm really sad it didn't get renewed because Rufus needs to be saved.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I will watch that over and over again. And I think the fandom was a really great fandom to be part of. And I think they'll carry on.
Nice. Yeah, I'd have to second that, at least at this moment in time, because that show, I was like, I'd watch every show that came out like 3 times in that week just to kind of burn it into my brain, because it's so fun, because it's, you go back in time to these historical moments, and I just love historical fiction in general. And even though it took real facts, it made it kind of fiction-y because they changed history. So, and then Matt Lanter.
Of course. I'm a huge Ava DuVernay fan. So a lot of, right now, like I've been watching Queen Sugar. That's one of the things that I just really, really love. And I love just the story. I read the book. It's slightly off of the book. But I really, you fall in love with these characters. You fall in love with the stories that is being created. And I love the fact that she has a diverse group of female directors.
One of those directors ended up working on episode 9, Victoria Mahoney. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. So our next question is from Bianca. She says, what character, preferably female or alien, from another fandom would be a perfect fit in the galaxy far, far away? Really good.
I got this. Cora. It's just kind of like Jedi power. She'd be like airbending, going for it. I think Korra would have just whipped some, if Luke had thrown that lightsaber in The Last Jedi, Korra would have just used the wind and brought it back up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen some Korra, but not a ton. Not as much as you have.
Okay. I want to see Star-Lord in Star Wars fandom, in Star Wars. And I want to see him meet Han Solo. and I want to see the alpha male battle they have.
That'd be pretty good. Kind of like, because the Thor battle is pretty good, too.
I know. That's why.
It's so funny because you describe those characters as alpha male, but neither of them to me are.
Really?
Yeah, Han Solo talks the talk, but as soon as Leia gives orders, he's willing to fall in line. And I think Solo, the movie, plays right into that. And I don't think Star-Lord is too. He's very happy to let Gamora lead the way.
I guess what I think of as alpha male is more like the presence of someone. Like you can't help but be drawn to that person when they're in the room.
No, well, the term means alpha would be like alpha dog, alpha male. So yeah. It's just interesting because those characters, like they're come off as masculine, but they aren't necessarily leaders.
Okay. Huh.
Well, I think Buzz Lightyear would be cool because he's a spaceman. And he'd be really funny.
I would probably love, like I said, I'm not into aliens, but as an 80s kid, I definitely watched E.T., even though I thought it was scary. E.T., I would love to see E.T. in a Star Wars film. I mean, the alien doesn't say much, but, he communicates with one finger.
Yeah, but they're in there, aren't they? They're in the...
They are.
Yeah.
In the Phantom Menace, I think.
Yeah. So I would love to see E.T. in a Star Wars film.
You know what I just thought of? Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, that'd be...
I just got that part of the question where preferably female or alien. So I was like,
how about an interaction with Chopper? That would be funny.
That would be amazing. Wow.
All right, and then we have a question from Celine Oliveira. She said, do you collect anything odd or non-geek related? I do. I collect playing cards, mostly Bicycle brand, but I collect a lot of different types of playing cards, basically cool colors, cool designs, cool backs of cards. So I have a fun playing card collection.
I collect puzzles. I love puzzles. Whether it's it could be Star Wars, it could be anything. I just love to just sit on my couch, lay out all the pieces. I have this huge table and just put puzzles together. But I have like tons and tons of puzzles that I collect every year.
Nice.
I collected plates, which I had a bunch of them, and one day the rack fell off the wall.
Oh
no.
Yeah. So, but not all of them were on that rack, but that was really crushing. And I also collect Breyer horses when I was a kid. And I remember because we were military brats, so we'd have to move, and I would go in and instruct the movers on how to wrap my Breyer horses correctly. So I do take them out of the box, which I know you're not supposed to do, but oh well.
So this is hard for me because I'm not necessarily a collector, but non-geek related things I collect is pretty much like really nice kitchen items, like for baking or for cooking. So I just like to have nice things in my kitchen. And so yeah, I have quite the collection from like Williams-Sonoma and things.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I can think of in terms of what's not geek related, because everything else I pretty much get is geek related. Although some things in the kitchen are geek related. What did you say? Fabric?
You collect fabric, and
I suppose, but it's for making things, so useful things.
Because like playing cards are useful.
Yeah, that's true. Well, definitely. You can do stuff with it. Puzzles are useful.
If you're going to swindle someone out of a Millennium Falcon, they're useful.
That's
I
true.
do have a deck of Sabat cards, actually.
I knew that. You had to.
All right. What's our next question?
From Celine again. What is your favorite thing about being a woman in geek culture right now?
Oh, clothes. I mean, I know people are probably wanting something super deep, but for me, the fashion is probably my favorite part because there's so much stuff that I can get. And her universe is announcing a new Doctor Who line at San Diego Comic-Con, and I want it.
Nice.
For me, I think just that feeling that I'm not alone anymore. And I think as growing up, and for me, being a young Black girl, from the Caribbean and America, who loves Star Wars, there weren't that many of that. I mean, I grew up in the inner city of Philadelphia, so a lot of times, I just felt alone. But I think now that I'm older and I've made connections with other people, I don't feel like that I'm alone anymore. Like there's other women, there's other people of color that really enjoy Star Wars, and I can share that with them. Just that feeling not being alone for me.
Nice. I'm going to piggyback off that and say it's kind of like when you meet someone or when you meet specifically another female out there and you both find that you have the same love of certain geek things, Star Wars or otherwise, you just feel this instant camaraderie. And I think that's just really special. And it's something like when we went to Geek Girl Con last year, there was so many connections that we all made just because we were all there for a common purpose. And it's not just meeting other people that like the same things you are, but it's meeting other women that like the same things you are. So it's like you're automatically speaking on a different level and you're already connecting. And I love that.
Hear, hear. I think for me, I remember when I first started blogging, I felt very alone, and it was almost like everything you had to tackle or it wouldn't get tackled. And now there's a lot of different voices and a lot of different perspectives, and it's nice to be able to sit back and listen to people share their perspective and try to participate in that way out as a listener, not just someone who's trying to get people to listen to you, which was how fandom first started for me, big time.
Okay.
Nice.
Our next question is from Heather Hunt. Hey, Heather. What are your earliest Star Wars memories? How old were you when you first watched Star Wars? For me, I've shared this story many times. I came to America when I was 9 years old, so that was the first time I was exposed to, or at least introduced to, Star Wars. And that's my earliest memories, just enjoying it. Like I said, Star Wars became my outlet and just trying to deal with, coming from another country, meeting, just in a different culture. And so it was my escape. It was my escape, from having to deal with with everything else that was happening. That was my introduction to Star Wars.
Yay. And you said you were 9?
I was 9.
Yeah, I was actually 10, and my cousins came over and wanted to watch something, and they were looking at our list of movies that my dad has, meticulously compiled, and they saw Return of the Jedi, and I had no idea what that was, but they wanted me to put it in, so I was like, okay. And so we watched it, and as I was watching it, I started falling in love with it, but I had these vague memories that I had seen the Ewok and Leia on that log, and then also when all, Chewie and everyone gets caught in the trap that the Ewoks set, I had these vague memories that I had seen that before. And so my earliest memory of Star Wars is actually from when I was 3 and saw Return of the Jedi at some point and saw Ewoks.
And people wonder why they put Ewoks and Chewie in the net in that movie.
Mm-hmm. No, that is what I remember as a little kid.
So I've told this story quite a bit, but I don't mind talking about it. So my family kind of had always watched Star Wars, but I boycotted the stupid Star Wars until I was 6, and then I got chickenpox, and then my mom forced me to watch Star Wars with oven mitts taped to my hand so I couldn't scratch, and I had pancakes trapped like on a plate tray thing in my lap so I couldn't get up because I couldn't pick it up, and I was forced into what we call Star Wars fandom. Which is fine because I ended up liking it, but I was a very big boycotter at the age of 5 and 6 until I wasn't anymore. And why? 'Cause Ewoks.
Yeah, there you have it. Woo! High five, cyber high five.
I was 8. It was 1977. So you guys can do the math and figure out how close to 50 I am at this point. Star Wars was a much different thing back then because there wasn't anything else. There was just the movie. There were no source books. There were no guidebooks. There were no interviews on the internet. You could find one from a newspaper, maybe from a friend of a friend of a friend. And we had to use our imaginations and hope. And the one thing I know for sure is that from 1977 on, people will tell you that are making the stories that they were thinking one thing and something else will happen. I just always keep that in mind as a fan now who's older. That was back in the day when people shipped Luke and Leia and Han and Leia, and there were intense rivalries about it, except we had to mail those to each other.
Oh, wow. You mean you couldn't tweet like instantaneously and have fights?
You had to really think about your ship war.
You have to wait, and you have to wait a week or two to get a response.
That's right.
Wow. I love it. Okay, are you guys ready for a fun question?
Oh, I'm ready.
This is kind of like a truth or dare. This question comes from Amanda Bond, and she asks, you are a Star Wars Disney princess. What creature would you have as your BFF companion? This is hard.
It is kind of hard, actually.
Let's spit out some creature names, because I'm like...
Maximus.
Oh,
can you pick something
Disney?
from Disney, or do you have to pick Star Wars?
You're a Disney princess, so you can pick one from Disney princesses.
Ooh. Oh, this opens up a whole new world.
Well, yeah, that seriously it does.
Oh, okay. So Maximus makes sense for you, Trisha.
Well, and also, what's Merida's horse's name? Angus. Angus is even cooler.
Angus is pretty cool.
I don't know about that.
Miko's pretty great. I would have to keep Miko away from Jack if Jack was around, but Miko's cool.
Nice.
That only makes sense if you've seen Incredibles 2. Sorry. I don't know. I feel like I either have like Miko or maybe Pascal.
We're taking all of Sarah.
Sorry. Okay, not Pascal. I'm gonna name one that is not. Hang on. It's okay. I'm gonna name one that's not Disney but feels like it's Disney. Mm-hmm. Okay. Toothless.
Ooh.
Can I have Toothless?
You can. And you know what? I think I would choose perhaps Olaf, just because he'd always put you in a good mood.
But would he survive in space? I mean, with the...
I mean, that's the whole point, though. He's, like, optimistic that he'll survive everything just because he doesn't know better. In summer!
What about you, Sandra?
I'll take a porg and keep it moving.
Okay. But yeah, okay. So I think I have to settle on Pascal because he's sitting right here with me.
A little bit of the same thing. All right. So our dear friend Chickafan said, if you could be added as an animated version of yourself in any Disney animated movie, which one would you want to be in and why?
Tangled. And
a surprise.
I know. And I would be Rapunzel's twin sister, and we would be two lost princesses, and then Flynn and his brother, the prince from Into the Woods, would find the tower together, and then we'd have the whole Tangled epic story.
I suppose this prince looks like Chris Pine.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I'm not shocked.
Okay. I would be in 101 Dalmatians, and I would be an animated version of myself, but as a dog. So probably like a Yorkshire Terrier or like a Yorkie Poo mix, you know? So like small, but like really bouncy. And I would be hanging out at the farm with Sergeant Tibbs and, you know, the one sheepdog guy who I can't remember his name. And I would help Sergeant Tibbs go and rescue all of the puddles. Y'all don't remember that movie, do you? Anyway.
I don't remember the puddles. What's that?
Okay, so when they're doing the Twilight bark to say that there are missing puppies, the sheepdog, what is his name? Trisha, help me.
I'm blanking on it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll find it. But the sheepdog, he's interpreting the Twilight bark, and he's so old, like he can't really hear, you know? And so he interprets it as missing puddles, not missing poodles, or not missing puppies. Sorry, puppies. And he says puddles. But anyway, so I would hang out with Sergeant Tibbs and the Colonel. Oh, his name's just Colonel.
Nice.
If I could be an animated version of myself, I would love to be in Beauty and the Beast as a teacup, as a teacup.
Oh, as one of Mrs. Potts' like kids.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, I love to drink tea. I do have a collection of teacups, so I would love to be a teacup.
Oh, what would your name be?
Teacup.
I'm not sure.
Crack? No, I don't know.
Porcelain?
Crack?
Sandy? I don't know. Sandy the teacup? I don't know.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, but definitely a teacup.
Nice.
I would be the fourth kitten in Aristocats.
I knew it. I knew it.
And I would be like a calico.
Okay, but you have to have a skill because Marie sings, Toulouse paints, Berlioz plays the piano. What do you do?
I'm going to tap dance.
Nice. It's fun. Can you be the cat that realizes there's something in the milk and you don't drink it?
No. Then there's no plot.
Well, yeah, but it's like intrigue.
That movie too, if you go back and watch it, is like so messed up. It's in France, then we're in New Orleans, sort of, and then we're sort of in France.
Like, later, I'll say when we go.
the Southern Hound Dogs in France.
There we go. Roquefort, though. See, I could be Roquefort's friend and hang out with you, Trisha.
Are you ready for the next question?
Yes.
This one is also from Chickafant. If you could spend the entire weekend with someone involved in the process of making Star Wars, who would it be and what would you want to do? This one is kind of hard to because there's two people I would love to spend a weekend with I don't want to talk to them. I just want to see what a day in the life of Carrie Hart is like. I mean, she's the head of the story group at Lucasfilm. I mean, she's wearing the top hat in that office. And she's also, a Black woman. I would just love to just see what a day in the life of Carrie Hart is like.
I would love to see what the day in the life of the composer would be like. So either John Williams or perhaps Michael Giacchino. I just love to be a fly on the wall and see how it works.
I think maybe for me, I would like to be with probably all the stunt people just to see how all of that stuff is done. And the training for all of that, and just that's part of film that like really intrigues me is all the stunt stuff. And if it wasn't that, then probably the CGI folks.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You guys went on like a totally different track than where my brain was going.
That's okay.
This one, Because it was, if you could spend an entire weekend with someone involved in the process. So it's the weekend and everybody's going to go partying. So I want to spend it with Oscar Isaac.
That's a good point.
Sorry. Okay.
That's fine.
I was like, man, these guys are getting all heady. And I was like, yeah, I just want to go party with Oscar Isaac.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to stick with my composer comment, so we're going to move on to the next question, also by Chica Fent, who had a lot of good questions. So here you go. Here is the next question. If you had the time to dedicate to it, what would be the topic of another podcast that you would like to be a host of? All right, so I've thought about this a lot, but I just don't have time, and I would love to do a film music podcast, but specifically going through each of John Williams' compositions in historical order. So even starting with like his TV series that he did, like Lost in Space, going into the Heidi TV movie, like there's so many interesting things he's done, and it would be just fun to do a podcast on that, and then also kind of, you know, as beneficial to me is just kind of learn more about his life in general. So I'd love to do that.
I actually have two. Harry Potter for sure. I would love to do a Harry Potter podcast, actually breaking down the books chapter by chapter and then talking about the movies in comparison to the books. I've actually thought a lot about this. I have a whole thing I've written up for how I would do this if I ever had the time. Nice. So it is already a podcast in my brain. And the other one is actually a My Little Pony podcast, to go through kind of like I did with Rebel Yell of the episodes and go through every single episode of My Little Pony and the movie. But again, also fully thought out, just don't have the time.
I would do a podcast. I've always wanted to do this, like about storytelling terms that wouldn't be as long, but wouldn't be like a discussion. It would be more like, this is what this is. This is what it means. Here's an example. Here's how you can use it, blah, 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 something like that. So
for me, I guess this is like probably a good time to put in this plug for this show that I have, this podcast that I've been trying to get going, but I have no time right now. But definitely, it's either just whether it's a writer, whether, you know, it could be about movies. It's just having a guest just come in, just answer 5 basic questions about their favorite book, about their favorite movie, about their, it could be about their favorite song, but just 5 questions, and just, you know, just sort of like have a discussion about why that movie, why that book is special to them. And I think, but I don't have the time right now. So it's been hard to really kind of like focus on it when I have so much on my plate. But we'll see in the next couple of weeks if I can actually sit down and actually record a first episode. That would be cool. All right, next question. I think that's me. If you were offered a job by J.J. Abrams behind the scenes on episode 9, what would it be?
Now, what does that mean by behind the scenes? How are we?
All right, would you be a producer? Would you be a writer? Would you be a director? Would you be the coffee girl?
I was actually going to say that. Can I be the person in charge of the snack table? Because I would be really good at that. I could also pack all the actors' lunches. I'm very good at that. It's a skill I have. So can I be the, whatever that's called, the person that's in charge of the food?
We usually have big craft services tables on big movies.
Okay, well, I'm in charge of them.
Nice. You know what I would be? I would be the camera person for the behind the scenes stuff, behind the scenes footage, because you're allowed like everywhere, and you have to like follow the stars around. You have to just follow everyone around and just film really cool behind the scenes stuff.
I would actually love to be maybe the costume designer, only because, like, you know, I love fashion. It's just one thing I have to do. I love dressing up. If you guys ever see my pictures on, you know, on whether it's on Instagram or on Twitter, like wherever I go, and my friends always say I always overdo it because I just love to dress up. If I'm going to a cookout, I'm going to make sure I look cute. So It would definitely have to be a costume design. And I think one of the inspiration for me, just after I saw Black Panther and some of the things that Ruth Carter did, the research that she put into creating those costumes for Black Panther, I loved it. And that's something that I would definitely want to do on episode 9. Like, okay, what is Rey going to wear when she fights Kylo Ren and kicks his butt? Mm-hmm. So like things that something like that, you know?
J.J. Abrams needs to hire me to be that person to read his script and go, yep, you're not serving your female heroine well enough. Let's rework it. That's who I want to be.
It fits you. Mm-hmm. All right. So Chicken Fan also said, if Disney Parks came to you for an idea for a new land to add to their parks that doesn't already exist or is planned for the future, what type of land would you suggest? And I'm adding, which park would it go in? Ooh. All right. When this question was asked, I was like, yes. Oh my God. Okay. So what I would do is I would throw it back to Animal Kingdom when it was first developed, and there was supposed to be, they didn't build it, but it was supposed to be a fantasy land, because if you notice on the logo for Animal Kingdom, there's a dragon. And so that was supposed to be there, and it's not there, but we have Avatar Land or whatever. So I would say an actual fantasy land-based area at Animal Kingdom. We can take inspiration from Avatar and stuff like that to make it completely, fully immersive, and take some inspiration from like How to Train Your Dragon and stuff like that, and make this fantasy area. It could have unicorns, and it could have, you know, rainbow colored ponies and like dragons and just all kinds of really cool fantasy based stuff, you know? And that would be awesome, because then they wouldn't have to rework their logo, because the dragon can still be there. And the Animal Kingdom area still has land that is not developed around the Animal Kingdom Park. So it could be possible, maybe.
I think it would be really neat to base kind of a section of the park, and as I'm describing it, we'll figure out which park it goes to, but base a section of a park on Mary Poppins. So you have like a chalk pavement area, and then it like magically not transforms, but like the next section you walk into will be like the Jolly Holiday, the little bridge over a little stream, and then you go to a carousel. So I think it would be like this landscaped area that you could also there's a section where you could eat. So there's like tables, kind of like in the Jolly Holiday Bakery, that's based on that.
Yeah.
Where you'd have tables where you could eat. So I think this would be neat. Maybe in Epcot, where you'd get food from some place, maybe England or France or something, but then you'd be able to walk over the bridge, you know, the chalk pavement, and into this Jolly Holiday area where you can eat.
Yeah, I was actually thinking Epcot too. I was just thinking of the design of the UK or England and Epcot, because there's the Alice in Wonderland, like kind of tea garden. Then you have the area where you usually meet like Pooh Bear and stuff. So there would have to be a defined area. And then, because in the back area that I'm thinking about where the Beatles cover band plays, that would be a really cool Mary Poppins area. But then where would you stick the Beatles? You know, so I'm kind of like, but yeah, definitely somewhere over there. I mean, you could theoretically, I guess, the bridge coming from France to England.
Right, but it's a little too big.
That is kind of big, but somewhere there might be, I
think that would be neat, like a little Mary Poppins land.
You totally stole mine.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. I was like, dude, no way. But I had a second, so.
You thought of Mary Poppins too?
Yeah, because I just think for the same reason you were, just because it's just you go into another world, so it's so cool. It would be like a different experience. It would be different. So we'd
Wow.
have penguins dancing too.
Heck
Oh, okay, so you can add to it.
Yeah, yeah. And the merry-go-round and all sorts of things like that. But I would go Into the Woods.
Okay.
Ooh.
You know, not just a Winnie the Pooh ride, but they'd all have their own little thing, and you'd be able to talk to Eeyore, because I just want to go and sit and talk to Eeyore.
In the 100-acre wood. Yeah, that would be great. They could redo Critter Country, okay, over in Disneyland, and add more Pooh. Because like so much of Critter Country is just Splash Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So you could do more. And then, I mean, there is the Hungry Bear, but you could change that to a Winnie the Pooh restaurant.
Oh,
I just think,
cute.
I just don't know, you know, because you could just hug them and it would make you happy. So, okay, that's mine. Sandra.
I was thinking, I mean, I'm a sci-fi person, definitely fantasy, but I was thinking more of like A Wrinkle in Time. I mean, I love the book. I like the whole like idea of just traveling through space or through time, whatever it is. But I just think that would be like a cool park. People to be able to jump from one world to the next. Make it colorful, make it bright. You're meeting different species and, different people. So I don't know. I'll probably change my mind an hour from now, but for now, it's A Wrinkle in Time.
That could go in Magic Kingdom somewhere. In the kind of like in between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, maybe in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it could be a cool like VR experience.
Oh, yeah,
where you
totally.
could change into different things. So I see that they're opening another, Secrets of the Empire now in Canada. So I think that's like 4 or 5 places. So
I think they're opening one here in Texas somewhere too.
can't get enough of them. So Jennifer Marsh, she is referring to our Solo discussion. And she said, I liked the Val character. I did, but I seem to have a different opinion on her death as everyone else that liked her. Yes, she did not have a lot of screen time, but Solo was 2.25 hour movie and not a 12-hour TV season. And after the main characters and the FX shots, there are not a lot of minutes left for secondary characters. Also, Thandie Newton probably has a busy schedule. She might not have had time for more. If more Val meant no Thandie, then no thank you. I also understand her death. She was wounded, weaponless, and pinned down by Viper droids. By going out of the way, she did it was on her own terms. By doing so, she took out the droids, saving Beckett and the crew. She also preserved the job so they would all have the life they wanted. I was not happy that she died, but it does not bother me as much as it does everyone else. Am I missing something?
Honestly, we'll never know. Due to the director change, we don't know what could have been, what Val's story is. But speaking from a Black woman's perspective, here you have Thandie Newton. She is an amazing actress. Here you have her on board. She's just amazing in everything that she does. And here you have this great character. And within minutes into the film, she's killed off. I thought they could have used the character better. I thought they could have developed. They had time. Like I said, we don't know what could have been. We don't know what was prior to Ron Howard taking over. But I thought that they could have done a better job with this first female, like huge female character that you have. They could have done a better job with her character.
Kay wrote at Fangirl blog an article about all the female characters in Solo. And in the laying out of all the characters in the crew, Beckett's crew, Val is the only character who isn't given a purpose in the movie. All the other characters at least get to express what they want out of life. And perhaps in her actions, they expressed it, but they didn't go through the effort of letting her express it in words. And I think that's really important because a lot of times the female characters are being told things and not allowed to say things. And that's a fact. And so it just there are little things that there's such little tweaks and it could have been so much better. But
But I thought that Thandie's dress at the premiere spoke volume.
Yes.
about her feelings on the topic. I mean, she didn't have to use words, but I think she really expressed that, we need more characters, people of color, especially, Black people in Star Wars, that we don't get to see a lot of that. So I thought she expressed that brilliantly with the dress that she wore at the premiere. Next question. Who are your dream slumber party guests? All right, so I have to remember this is a kid show also. Now,
is this in the Star Wars universe, I'm guessing, or what?
Oh, I just think it means anybody.
Anybody, I guess. I'll let someone else start while I think about this.
Okay, dream slumber party guests. Let's see, people that could be fun at a slumber party. I'm going to kind of stick with people in their characters. Okay, so Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. Yes, please. They would be a hoot.
They would be awesome. And we'd have lots of junk food.
Totally.
Lots and lots of junk food.
And then Rory can bring Logan with her if she desires. I mean, I'd be fine with, boy-girl slumber party. It's all good.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump off that. Recently, Richard and I have started binge watching The Office for like the third time. And it's just an awesome show. And I think it would be amazing to have Jim and Pam and Dwight there, because we could always prank Dwight. And then Michael would just have to be there because he is the life of the party. Even though he's so crazy and like says really horrible things, he just would have a really fun, he would make sure everyone had a fun time at your party.
From what Teresa said, I like the whole idea of, just inviting your male and female friends to a slumber party. The top two people that I would have at the moment would probably be Princess Shuri from Black Panther and M'Baku, Winston Duke, because I think the two of them in the same room, just cracking jokes. I think we would just have the best time. I think they would keep everyone laughing all night. They would definitely be invited to my slumber party. They could bring T'Challa too, just because he's cute.
Nice.
I want Captain Picard and Captain Janeway and just sit down and let them smack talk all their crew members. Get it off their chest.
And then could Captain Picard tell us a bedtime story?
Of course.
I am down for that.
I also want Vanellope.
Yes.
She would be fun.
Yes, she would.
And that question, did we say who that question was from?
That question is from, I think it's Michelle Bell. I'm not sure. Michelle Bell.
I think so.
Did everybody get it? It was a good question.
That's a good one.
Go out there. At Jedi Geek Girl asked, Lucasfilm is shooting a new film in the prequel trilogy era based on an original story of your choosing. What is your story? It cannot be related, retelling, or based on a story previously told in Legends.
God darn it. Oh. Because I know what I want to see in movie form. Saying you can't use anything from Legends is that's terrible, because there's things that are in the books that I really want to see on film, like on the big screen.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and where would Thrawn be here? Thrawn would be like a young man. Right. So I think I would like to see what Thrawn's life was like as a young man or even a young boy growing up in the unknown regions. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to go with, I want to know what kids' politician camp was like on Naboo, so we can see Padme with her boyfriend and and whatever that story is.
Oh. He was cute.
YA. Yeah. Like all these romance movies that you get with the young kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'd be great. I actually am going on a Naboo directive also. Ooh. I think that when Padme was already starting to know things were not going well before Revenge of the Sith, and she was working in the Senate, she had enlisted some of her former handmaidens to gather intelligence and bring it back to her in confidence.
That would be
That's
fun.
the story I want to know. I want to know what Dorme's up to. And Irite and all of them. Sabe. Which one's dead? Corday.
I would probably want to know more about Jar Jar Binks' childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's different. I think that's what I would want to see. What was his childhood like?
Now, would you want to see it animated? Because he's probably living underwater.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. But I just want to see what his childhood was like. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, moving on to question 20. And this is from Dr. Ragnarok, who asks, who would you like to see score Rian Johnson's trilogy? I think it would be interesting to hear what Christoph Beck would do. Now, Christoph Beck scored the music to Frozen, to Ant-Man, and to Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the Ant-Man and the Wasp have some really interesting meter and rhythms, and I think it would be fun to kind of go off the beaten path with Rian Johnson's trilogy and do a little different scoring there for a different tone.
I was actually going to say sort of the new John Williams, which to me, just because he's doing everything for Pixar and Disney and Star Wars, so Michael Giacchino.
Yay.
Just because I do really like the music that he's done. I also really, really like the composer that was supposed to do, was it Solo?
Yes. No, he was supposed to do Rogue One.
He was supposed to do Rogue One.
Good.
Oh my gosh, my brain.
Yeah, he did some of the Harry Potter.
He did Harry Potter too. He did
Alexandre Desplat.
Yeah, Desplat. Okay. I would also like Alexander Desplat, who did Order of the Phoenix for Harry Potter, and I think he did might have done
two, right?
I think he did Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and Deathly Hallows. So and I really love the scores for those films, so I would love to see him do Star Wars. And I know he was supposed to, and then it didn't happen, and that kind of bummed me out. But
yeah, for Rogue One.
I'm gonna go a totally different route. I would love to see Donald Glover. Attempt this. I mean, he is incredibly talented. I mean, I've heard his music. I mean, this guy can do it all. But I would love to see what he could possibly do when, on something so much bigger, with film.
Nice.
It's different. Yeah. I think it would bring a totally different vibe to Star Wars. I think sometimes that's needed than the typical things that we always see and hear.
All right, Trisha.
Can I just say I'm voting for it not to be made at all? No composer.
Oh. Jeez. Okay.
So our last question, which is the best question of the whole entire show today. And this question comes to us from me, from my brain. All right. What are some things you think about when you're sitting on the toilet or in the shower? Now, the reason I added or the shower part is because I have actually found that one of the places I do my most impressive thinking is when I take showers. And I have actually told Greg I need to get some of those kids' shower crowns, so that I can write down what I think about. So when I get out, I can come back with a piece of paper and write them down so that I don't forget. But I think about a lot of stuff. I think about my life existence. I think about Star Wars. I think about things I need to do. I make my to-do list in the shower. I think about planner videos I want to make. I also come up with ideas for the show. So our slumber party idea was birthed in the shower. Mostly when I'm on the toilet, I'm playing Emoji Blitz. Just saying.
Cyber high five. Okay. Wow.
When I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm usually thinking about what did I eat today? And where is the spray? In the bathroom.
That's why we have a We have a bathroom scentsy warmer that we turn on right when we close
yes.
the door.
Mhm.
And in the shower, I'm usually singing, and I just hope no one can hear me. That's probably just all I do. That's my bathroom stories. I mean, I'll think about other things when I'm in the shower, but again, this is a kid's show, so I'll keep it
Nice. Well, you mentioned how, Teresa, you are in the shower and you think about your day. That's what I like to do when I'm like on my run. So in the shower, I just kind of zone out and don't think about too much, or I think about, oh man, I should have ran today. So I think about the exercise I should have done, or I feel good about the exercise I have just done. That's my shower story.
And your toilet story?
Oh no, we cyber high-fived about that.
Oh yeah, emoji blitz. Mm-hmm.
If I'm liking you on Twitter or retweeting you, it could be because I'm on the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't take baths. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't take showers. I take baths, and I read during them. So nothing's going on then. So, but anyway, next time y'all see me like one of your tweets, just think about that.
Wow.
Oh
Hey Trisha, when you take a bath, do your cats come in and put their paws on the side and look to see if you're okay?
Oh yeah, my one cat Anakin, he like totally stalks me. He's like,
oh yeah,
time. And then I'll run my fingers along the edge of the tub, and he'll like reach over and go like, bam, bam, and I'm like, oh,
Aww.
you're so cute. It's one of the few times he comes to see me.
Yeah, my cats, if I take a bath, they will jump up on the edge of the tub because I have like one of those big garden tubs. Then they can sit there and they'll just sit there and like watch me in the water. Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you sitting in water? This is weird. Love, love, love the cats.
So is it time for our ultra quick character discussion?
Yeah, it'll
Yes,
be super
it
quick,
is.
but we have to do it. Roll it, Rob Dellinger.
Sidious, Anakin, Luke and Leia, Qui-Gon Jinn, C.O. Bibble, Kylo Ren, Salacious Crumb, Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett, Amidala, Wicket, R2-D2, BB-8, I can barely keep it straight. It's a character discussion. It's the Fangirls on character. It's a character discussion.
All right, so our character discussion today actually was one of our questions, and so I thought this would be a good character discussion for us. So at STBende, B-E-N-D-E, said, who is your all-time favorite Darth?
Nice.
Okay, and I know you guys think you know what I'm going to say. I know you do.
I think we do.
I think that what you think is not what I think.
Oh man.
Did anybody
Okay.
follow that?
Yeah, you're not going to say Maul.
No, I'm not.
Wow.
I'm shocked. Good, I'll take him.
Damn
All
it.
right.
Okay, so my all-time favorite Darth is Darth Bane. Freaking love Darth Bane. He is, I have this weird fascination with the dark side and with the Sith. I have the same with the light side and with the Force because I really love the inner workings of how the Force actually works and the light and the dark sides of it. So there's something more to it than just liking bad stuff, okay? It's the meta of the Force. And so one of those characters that really dives in to all of that is Darth Bane. And those novels give so much information about the dark side of the Force and the way that it's interpreted and the way that it grew. And so, yeah, Bane.
So you're going with Legends Bane.
Yep.
And so, Trisha, you've already taken Maul. Do you have a reason why?
I just think when I saw him in The Phantom Menace, he was like everything I thought the Sith could be.
Mm-hmm.
Just that representation, the way he looked, the way he fought, kind of the animalistic part of him. And then they just kept giving us more and more and more. I could totally believe now when they first said, he was going to come back, I was like, he can't live. He was cut in half. But it all makes sense now, right up to his death. So I think he had like the perfect Sith arc.
I am going to piggyback on that because I remember the Star Wars Insider magazine that came in probably 98 that had Maul's face on the cover. And it was just super intriguing and super terrifying, this red and black face, and I was hooked. And so, yeah, from then, and then you see him in The Phantom Menace, and one of the moments that I gasped out loud in the theater when I first saw that film was when he, ignited his lightsaber, and then the other half of his lightsaber ignited, and you're like, whoa, what is happening? So I think for me, he just gets the whole, surprise factor, and that's why I like Darth Maul.
This is a tough question for me because I love Darth Maul and Vader, but I will go with Vader. Nice. Only because I think Darth Vader is one of the most misunderstood characters in Star Wars. I mean, there's so much to go into when you talk about Star Wars, and people, not thinking he's, was he truly, we start bringing in the ideas of redemption and things like that. But I try to always say, I try to look beyond the mask. And when I think about Vader and the people you meet in life, there's always something behind the things that they do. He murdered people. He does these, awful things, horrific things to people. But, when I think of Darth Vader, I mean, I just think that there's so much more behind that mask. I mean, I like him. Not too many people would agree with that. But I think he's just one of the characters that people just love to hate for some reason. I like him because I try to look beyond the mask and try to see that transformation, from Anakin to Darth Vader, and just trying to look at the things that happened in his life that led him to take the path that he did.
Well, I think one of the most interesting parts in Vader's journey is in Star Wars Rebels, the finale of Season 2, when you see the cracked mask, and there you are seeing beyond the mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. Yeah.
That's one of the best episodes ever.
It is. I'd love it.
The whole Ahsoka Anakin thing paid off. Everything.
Master.
Rebels in general was an amazing show, and I think at first Rebels people weren't really sure how it was going to be, but I think it gave us a lot.
I agree.
I went back and watched a lot of the Clone Wars recently, and when you watch it in order, not the order that they put it in, it's like, oh yeah, all this makes sense. Because remember, the first 2 seasons were kind of all over the place, and they were just different times, and some of season 1 episodes are actually in the middle of season 3, chronology wise. So when you watch them in order, you're like, oh, these kind of all make sense in what they were thinking. And then you're like, oh wow, that animation style is really primitive, because you're into season 3, and then you got to go back to season 1. Even just looking at what they did in the first 2 seasons, and then what they did in Rebels, it's like, oh my gosh, they've gotten so much better.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of this awesome episode. So in between shows, you can visit us over at fangirlsgoingrogue.com. You can find us on Twitter. We are at FGGoingRogue. Trisha is at Fangirl Cantina. I am at Ice Cold Penguin. Sarah is at Jedi Tink. And Sandra is at Geek Chic 9.
You can email us new questions. We'll answer more. Contact at fangirlsgoingrogue.com. Facebook, just type Fangirls Going Rogue. Tumblr, fangirlsgoingrogue.tumblr.com.
And also on Facebook, we have our Facebook group where a lot of these questions came from. So you can request to join that by heading to Facebook and searching Fangirls Going Rogue group and request to join. And you'll have to answer those questions that pop up. You can also find us on Instagram. We are at FG Going Rogue. Or you can leave us a voicemail and ask us some questions. And we are at 33121 Ewoks. And if you do leave a voicemail, give us your best Ewok impression.
Please go to iTunes or whatever podcast you're using and leave us a positive 5-star review. We need your reviews so more people will find us.
So, until next time, da 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 da, yub,
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 yub.
Awesome.
All right, Trisha, you go. I don't know how to segue you to this. So.
If you guys have... Hold on. Do 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 do.
I was going to tell Teresa, do you know that Big is coming back to the big screen for just 2 days to celebrate? I think it's the either 25-year anniversary of Big. I can't remember the year, but yes, it's coming back to the big screen for like 2 days.
I do. I know way too much about Tom Hanks. Not healthy for anyone.
We're now discovering that she's a Tom Hanks stalker.
Hey,
Tom Hanks for Teresa, Chris Pine for me. There you go.
If you don't follow Tom Hanks's Instagram, you should, because it mostly consists of things he finds on the street, like a sock or a shoe, and he says witty things. Like he found a Disney hat one time, and it was something along the lines of, "This place isn't so magical for you, is it?" Like just witty, stupid stuff. It's amazing. Follow his. I think it's Hanks with an X. At Hanks.
Are Tom Hanks fans called something because Chris Pine fans are pine nuts?
I don't know. Hankies?
Excuse me. I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The word I'm searching for, I can't say because there's preschool toys present.